this a little side quest, and it is interesting, and I know you guys are going to love it. It is bloody cooked in there. The solid shaft is there, and on the factory one, it isn't solid. It has the bearings and whatnot, more moving parts, more moving friction, more things to go wrong. This thing has so much more flow to it. It doesn't even look like the same charger, but I guarantee you it is. LSA is about 95% complete. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video on my VF Clubsport R8 LSA build, and in this video we are going to be working on the LSA engine. So if you didn't watch the previous video, we completely stripped down the Clubsport to absolutely nothing, and it is getting all ready to go in the new shell. This is my Series 2 2016 VF Calais V in the Slipstream blue, as well as what my HSV was. So it makes the swap nice and easy. But in this video, we are going to be building up this stock LSA into something spicy, but not too over the top like I do it on this channel. As you can see, we already have my VY Clubsport Turbo LS build here, which is going to make very north of 1,000 wheel horsepower. And we have my 850 horsepower XR6 Turbo as well. So this one isn't going to be as insane, but it's going to sound good and it's going to go good. So what are we going to be doing to this engine to make it go good? Now, VCM Performance have jumped on board and have tremendously helped me out, and they have continuously done it back to back for many years. If you guys don't know, VCM was my first ever sponsorship, so I'm very grateful, very thankful for those guys. They're absolutely awesome. Christian, Dominic, Mario, all the boys and girls down at VCM, absolutely awesome. They want to help out with the build. They want to help this channel. They're doing everything they possibly can to make that possible. So I want to give a huge shout out to all of you guys at VCM. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all so much. And I can't wait to make this thing a little rocket. We are obviously doing a camshaft upgrade, obviously doing valve springs, we're doing push rods, we're doing LS7 lifters, all that jazz. But I will open the boxes up when they do come, because I'm still waiting on them at the minute. But I'm going to just tear down everything and get it all ready for all the VCM goodies. But like I said, camshaft, it's going to sound good, it's going to sound nice, it's going to purr. And yeah, obviously not too over the top, because we have over the top cars. I just want a nice cruiser that has some punch, and this is going to be exactly that, which I'm super keen about, and I'm sure you guys are too. Now that's enough talking. Let's start getting into tearing down the motor, and we are going to start by pulling the LSA blower off and working our way down from there. Now that bloody LSA blower was not the easiest thing to lift off on this engine stand. This sits a little bit taller, so it's a bit awkward pulling it up and off without dragging or breaking anything. But it's off, and having a quick glance as I was pulling the blower off, it looks pretty clean. So you guys have probably seen it about as live as I am. But if you have a look, the ports on this are absolutely immaculate. There is nothing out of the ordinary. There is no sort of carbon buildup, which is a very positive sign, and I am very happy about that. Also, when separating the lid from the blower itself, I looked at this cooler brick and it hasn't collapsed at all. Now these are very renowned for collapsing, and this one seems fairly immaculate, which I'm pretty stoked. We're obviously going to get a new seal kit and everything like that. I'll chuck this in the parts wash, give that all a nice clean before it goes together. Now, having a look at the LSA blower here, I'm obviously going to be cleaning that as well, but everything looks pretty normal. The rotor wear does look relatively normal for an LSA. The isolator in here does have a little bit of play. They do always have a tiny bit of play. This has a little bit more than usual, and a simple way to know if that is stuffed is when your car's idling, it sounds like there's rocks tinkering around in your blower, and this sort of had that. Now video may not pick up as much movement as this thing does, but it's not completely stuffed, but it's also not the greatest as well, and ultimately that will deter the wear and how the charger functions, because you could imagine with a bit of free play, like anything like a diff or anything like that, it isn't good news for it. But we are going to be getting something from VCM that will sort that out as well. I am going to be chucking this back up, and we're going to get to tearing a few of the accessories off and the heads down as well. So I'm going to stop yapping. We're going to go back into a little B-roll sequence. The engine has finally all been torn down. Looks bloody perfect inside. I'm actually pretty stoked with the condition of this engine. There was not a single leak on this thing, which is pretty rare for an LS, but the engine mount definitely needs changes. If you would have seen all the stuff on the side of the cooler and whatnot there, but we'll be changing those. Maybe we'll put one tough mount on that side, and we'll put a standard LSA on the other one because the engine tilts. And I'm just kidding. If you know, you know. Shady. Continuing on, everything in here looks all good in the hood. I gave everything a good and thorough clean, about 2 hours of cleaning, but it's all come immaculate, nothing abnormal. We're going to be getting new gasket seals and everything like that anyways, but that is all good and in good form. And everything in here is good as well, like the camshaft, sort of where you'd expect for the amount of cases this engine does have, but nothing abnormal, nothing out of the ordinary, no score marks or anything like that. All the lifters were perfect as well, which is a good sign, which means there's no metal shavings or anything like that in the motor, but there was nothing blocking the pickup or anything like that, or nothing on the oil pump or on the pans or anything like that. So it is a pretty well kept engine, which I'm super stoked about. It's always good to buy something that you don't have to go too crazy with, and this obviously is going to be a little bit crazy, but not as far as rebuilding the whole thing. Everything is in great shape, great form. I'm super stoked with that. Just means less money I have to spend, and more time in doing some fun things, and you know, not prioritizing other cars of mine that need to get on the road. But this is a little side quest, and it is interesting, and I know you guys are going to love it. We're just waiting for the parts from VCM to come and the heads to come back that I did send out this morning. They'll be a few days off, so I guess we'll leave the video here, and we'll come back in a few days and start putting all the goodies in the LSA. Alrighty guys, we are back, and it is time to start piecing the LSA back together. Now, before I show you guys what exactly we got from VCM Performance, I do just want to give a massive shout out to everybody down there. Those guys are absolute legends. They support me, which helps support this channel, which gives you guys content as well. And supporting me, it helps me heaps. They have jumped on board with basically everything that has been brought up and all the builds thus far. So guys, head over to Instagram, give them a follow. If you need any parts for your LS, be sure to hit them up. They are absolute legends, and they supply some great parts. Now, I'm not just saying this because it's a sponsorship or anything like that, but I have been using VCM Performance for many years, well and truly before they kind of approach me for any sort of sponsorship at all. So I use their products, I trust their products, I back their products, and if it's going in my car, then there should be no reason why it should be going in yours. People have their preferences and reasons and whatnot, but I use VCM Performance in all of my cars and my customers' cars too. So guys, again, massive shout out to VCM Performance. If you need any parts, go hit them up. So starting off, we have the VCM 5SC. Now, if you want to talk specs and whatnot, it's a 275 degree intake and a 285 exhaust, Valve lift isn't that much greater, duration, lobe separation, all that. It isn't anything crazy. This is the smallest camshaft for a supercharged application, and it means that because I'm keeping my stock converter, we're not going to have a jumpy car when I'm sitting at the set of lights, which is what I wanted. Nice street cruiser with some power. If you guys didn't know, you can adjust the camshaft chop essentially by doing a ghost cam to it, make it sound a lot more choppier than what the actual camshaft sounds itself. So the VCM 5FC is obviously going to give me a bit of chop, but we are going to play around with those settings, in which I'll show you in a later video on HP tuners, and we will make it a bit more lumpier so it sounds a bit better. Because, you know, here we like big thumping V8s, and I'm going to give you guys that and show you that as well. But awesome camshaft, makes some good numbers, and is perfect for what we are doing with this build. Now, to accompany all of that, we have a few things around. Now, moving on through, we have the Rollmaster dual timing chain, a Mellings oil pump, got some Manly push rods. We also have some Manly valve springs that are in here with new retainers and clips and everything like that. We also got the heads service from Ash 4Play Racing. All got some new valves because the old ones were a little bit, how you going? Heads are machined up, they're in. Pressures are all good in that regards. We've got some L7 lifters with the lifter buckets as well. ARP head bolts, we didn't go with studs because, again, it's nothing too crazy. We've got the cam bolt set, we've got the plate set, the crank bolt, a perfect little investment for your LS. So this is an oil pump pickup tube brace. You'll notice with the factory LSs, it'll only have one bolt off the pickup tube. This sits on top of it and acts as two bolts. So from factory, they do have the bolt hole there, and I don't know why they didn't do this, but Improved Racing have developed this part to put it there, brace it up a little bit, make it stronger, as well as the barbell oil plug here. So that sits in the back of the motor. From factory, they're plastic and nice and brittle, and what they do is they go hard, break, crack, and yeah, that's not good when you're dealing with anything oil-wise. If you're wondering why there's a screw in there, that is because that is how you get it out. So you screw it in a little bit and you can pull it with a screwdriver out, or pliers or whatever, and that just makes that a lot easier. This is a snout from VCM. As you can see, there is a lot of work that goes into this. The snout now faces straight, whereas this one kind of sits on a 45. Now this is beneficial in so many ways. Not the fact that it just has the pulley here so you can change to whatever size pulley you want on the fly with just undoing a few bolts there. It actually is bigger than what you can port the factory LSA snout out to. So it is an upgrade and a half, and we all know more air means more power, better flow, and it doesn't have much direction in this with the snout facing forward. So whereas the factory LSA one does. I know it doesn't sound like much, but if you get all scientific and whatnot, it does definitely make a difference. And you can also adapt a bigger throttle body on there as well, but we are going to be keeping the standard one over there, putting that on for now. But if we want to upgrade down the track, we do have that option there. A 65mm pulley for it as well. So again, option there down the track to change it. We can do a few different tunes and a few different pulleys depending on where you are, and then you can change them, change the tune, off you go. That's how you're going to get a bit more power, because with supercharged cars, the one power you have with that size pulley is the power you get, and you can't make any more boost without changing these bad boys. So we have that and the VCM OTR to accompany that, which is all in here with all the goodies to make it work, but I'll show you guys that in a later video with installing that. But it's all going to work well together, plenty of cold air, make good power, and it's going to sound awesome as well with the LSA little whine through that. So I'm super keen, super grateful for VCM Performance. These guys are absolutely awesome. As you can see, they have given us a fair share of parts here. I cannot thank those guys enough. I'm super grateful for them. So guys, again, if you want to get all this stuff, you can get it on VCM Performance's website. So go and check them out. Go grab some parts, upgrade your LS, jump on the train, support them, because they support me, us, this channel, everything. So again, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys so much. Let's get back into piecing this engine back together. Alrighty, so there we go. We have the oil pickup tube brace from Improved Racing that you can get from VCM on. As I said, factory just has this one bolt up here, and this brace makes it two. There is a thread there from factory. Don't know why they didn't use it, but Improved Racing got on it, made that brace, and this is a very good investment for very little money on VCM's website. So go ahead, go check that out, get one of them, as well as a forged alloy oil barbell in there. So that is much better. Factory, again, plastic, brittle brakes. This thing, nice, firm, solid. And the last thing you want is any sort of oil or oil pressure issues. And those two things are going to help you out. So now we can get to putting the back cover on, front cover on, then we can get the sump on, flip it over, and do these heads. I just realised I was getting a little bit too carried away without the camera on, so my apologies. But the lifters are in. We've got the head gaskets on as well, but the lifters are there, lifter buckets are there. They're all torqued down, which I did get. And the way I bled them is they've sat in this little oil bucket with about 1.5 litres of oil in there for the last few days. So they're on there. The head gaskets had a little bit of film of oil on them, as they all do. I've cleaned that all down, cleaned the surface of the head, of the block, sorry. I'm about to clean the surface of the head now, and we can start putting the heads on. Now, I didn't get to be able to put the front cover on because my mistake, dual row timing chain, spacing that out, it doesn't work with the standard cover. So I do have a aftermarket cover coming tomorrow, so I'll get into putting that on tomorrow. Whoopsies, just kicking stuff. And for now, at least we can do that stuff, get the heads on and whatnot. So here's one of the heads, all nice and good looking with some fresh valves in there, freshly machined. I'm just going to obviously clean down the surface. I've just blown it all out in case there was any sort of swarf or anything from the machining, but give those a clean now, and then we will drop the heads on, put the head bolts on, drop the push rods in, and get the rockers in and stuff. We actually ended up upgrading the trunnion, so it's got a VCM trunnion upgrade as well too. My boss Pete did that for me while I was doing this stuff, so nice little added bonus there. I can show you guys, you're not really going to notice any sort of thing, except you can kind of see the newish collet in there, but we've got upgraded trunnions now, so at least pretty much the whole valve train is new, so that'll be pretty good for it. So we're going to get some good numbers, solid numbers, and it's going to be reliable. So let's get back into putting the heads on and all of that jazz. It is time for the head bolts to go on. Now I've pulled them all out of the box. I have cleaned all of the washers, all of the bolts, so they're all on immaculate. Reading the instructions, you should always, but I know because I've done these a fair bit, the chamfered bit there, the rough bit goes down on the head, so it grips as it turns. And what I need to do now is lube up the bottom of the bolt and lube up under the head. But like I said, where the bit that goes onto the head, this bit, there can be no ARP lube on that at all, because if there is, you're going to get incorrect torque specifications, which you don't want with heads. So I am going to put all the washers on, little dab to spin the washer around, and then lube up the bottom. And we're going to torque them all down. It's saying 25 foot-pound, then 50, then 80. The other bolts are 25 foot-pound, and then that carries on through. So there we have it, guys. The heads are officially on the LSA. We've got them all torqued down to spec, and I will note as well, that tool that I use, the snap-on tool, it doesn't have the clicker. Now, if you're going to be doing heads, especially if you're going to be trying this yourself and giving it a crack, get a proper torquing tool. Now that, I've been using it for years, so I know when to slow down and to get it pretty much bang on the exact specifications of whatever bolt you're torquing down. Over the years, you know, you kind of get that experience in that hand, but it doesn't stop you in any way. It makes a beat, but you can still go a few Newton meters over. And literally the one that you set, you turn, one that you turn anymore, that is probably the best one for you, and probably the best one for me as well. But you know, it's here, I use that, that's just how I do it. Everyone's different in that aspect, but yeah, the safest way to do is to use the one that clicks and doesn't let you turn any more than what you set the torque to. So anyways, moving on, we also got the valley cover on. It's a brand new GM one with the new gasket, new bolts, just need to swap over the sensor at the back. And then now we can get into installing the push rods and the rockers themselves as well. So I'm going to stop talking. We're going to keep going on because it is getting late, but I want to get this thing done tonight, hopefully. Even though I don't have the front cover, but majority of it tonight I want to get done, and then we'll come back tomorrow and finish off the last little few pieces. But anyways, let's get back into it. Now it is blower time. I'm going to be pulling off the snout because, as I stated earlier in the video, we are going to be fitting this VCM snout here. We also have an isolator to fit as well. A few gaskets, change a few sensors over. We should be good to rock. So let's pull this old snout apart. Let's get this new one together. So we've got the snout of the blower off and it's looking pretty mucky in there, so got to clean that up, clean the outside too. But this isolator, as I suspected, is absolutely crunched. You can't really pick it up on camera, but it is bloody cooked in there. So that's obviously the free play. Not good, but we got a new one that VCM supplied us with. So again, if you guys want to get even a snout and you just want the isolator for your supercharger with the factory snout, they have that on their website too. I'm going to leave it for tonight because it is 11 PM on Wednesday, and tomorrow we're going to be cleaning that up. Hopefully the gaskets come from Holden for this LSA blower. Swap them all over, we'll put the snout on, put it on the engine, and hopefully get the sump gasket as well at the same time and the front cover, so we can finish off this video and get it uploaded to you guys on Friday, because it is in real time. It caught up to me real quick. It went away to Melbourne on the weekend to drop my Clubsport off and I've fallen back behind. But anyways, we're on the grind, we're getting this done, it'll be done, and yeah, this as well, so we'll catch you tomorrow. Alrighty guys, so it is the next day and I just want to quickly add in that we have some new merch. This is the Nanu design. We've got it in a hoodie, we also have it in a t-shirt, and if you guys want to cop one and support your boy and support this channel, the link is down in the description. It is a pre-order, so it's only a limited run. You can only get these for one run. I'm not stocking them or anything like that. And that will be closing on the 13th at 11:59 PM, and then allow 2 to 3 weeks to get whatever you guys order from my site. So like I said, the link is down in the description. All the profits from this get reinvested straight back into the channel. It doesn't go into my pocket. It goes into more content for you guys. So if you guys want to see more content, more builds, and everything else, definitely get yourself one. They're cool, they're limited run, so jump on it. And if you guys want one for the VF once it's done, let me know down in the comments too, because maybe we'll do a run for the VF as well. So anyways guys, we've got a few parts that have come today. We've got an Aeroflow front cover that suits the dual row timing chain, so we can put that on, put the sump on, and then put the snout back on the blower with the isolator and stuff like that. and then we can get it on the engine and get this video all finished up and wrapped up for the LSA. So guys, without further ado, let's jump back into it. The engine is finally at a point ready to install the LSA blower, but before we do that, we're going to whack this thing together. And I just want to show you guys quickly, I cleaned this and this looks nothing like how it did when I pulled it off. As you guys would have seen earlier, it was absolutely oil stained and disgusting, and now it looks bloody brand new. It doesn't even look like the same charger, but I guarantee you it is. We've got new seals as well, some genuine seals and whatnot there to go on. But first, we are going to be putting the snout together. And before we do that, I don't know if I showed you guys this good of an angle of the snout before, but as you can see, it is literally day and night. This thing has so much more flow to it, bigger than what you can port these things out to the max. This solid shaft is there, and on the factory one, it isn't solid. It has the bearings and whatnot, more moving parts, more moving friction, more things to go wrong. So that is an upgrade there in itself, as well as VCM supply a solid plastic isolator here. So factory one has a spring in it, and yeah, they stuff out, and also that spring does groove this and stuff this shaft up as well. This has early signs of that, but nothing bad for the case of what this motor has. I'm actually very surprised, but you know, could have been changed for all I know. So we're going to stick this snout together. I'm going to put the pulley on, I'm going to put the isolator in, seal it up, put it on, and finally get this on top of the motor. There we have it, guys. The LSA blower is about 80% complete. We obviously got to put the gasket there for the brick and the lid on and whatnot, but that comes on after we bolt it down to the motor. But we've got the VCM snout on. It's looking nice and schmick. We've got the 65mm VCM pulley as well there. I've got the throttle body on now. You'll probably notice that it's actually 180 degrees out. That's how they work. That's how they have to fit now. Pretty sure the wiring should make it. If not, there may be an adapter in the box of a billion things that VCM kindly gave me, but we'll work that out once we start piecing the motor together. But it is ready to finally put on the motor. I just got to put the intake manifold gaskets underneath it, the bolts through so it holds it there, and we'll drop it down and it's just going to be ready to go. There we have it. The LSA is about 95% complete. I need to do the seals, the water pump, and a few other accessories on it, but mainly the engine is together. I'll do all of that for the next episode of this build. I want to give another massive shout out to VCM Performance. You guys are absolutely tops. I appreciate you all so much for helping me out with this build and other builds. You guys absolutely rock. And you know what rocks as well? Their parts. Honestly, I wouldn't be telling you guys if I wasn't using the products myself before years on end. I wouldn't want to give you guys rubbish, sell you guys rubbish, or talk out of my backside, because I'm not that kind of person. And you know, really, VCM is the way to go, guys. Honestly, I've been using their cam kits and everything for the last few years, and I've not had any single dramas at all. So if you guys are chasing a cam kit or an LSA blower, snout, or anything LS, make sure you hit those guys up And they are super helpful as well with the customer service side of things. So if you're unsure of what you need converter size and whatnot, or you already have a converter in it and you want to try work it out, speak to the boys down there, and they will sort you out with the right camshaft for your application. And that is pretty much what you want. Their customer service is second to none, and they are super helpful and awesome people to deal with. Honestly, I cannot back them enough. Definitely be using them for many future builds. So guys, we're going to leave the video here. So in the next episode, we're going to be putting the LSA in the VF and all the other accessories to get it going. Whether it's going or not in the next episode, I might tease you guys a little bit. I might not. We'll have to wait and see. A few things need to be programmed before we can start the car, but the engine's done, which is the main thing. So guys, again, thank you all so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you put those post notifications on so you do not miss out on the next episode and future episodes of this VF LSA build here. And as always, guys, I guess we'll catch you in the next one.